Welcome to Clout 941. I'm Ron Filipkowski, your host, and tonight we have a do-over. Last time we had Tom Knight here. He was candidate Tom Knight. Tonight he's Sheriff Tom Knight. And we're going to have a good time tonight talking about the criminal justice system in Sarasota County and some of the changes he's making to the Sheriff's Office. Tom, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it.
All right. First of all, I want to tell you, Tom, that I, for Valentine's Day, took my wife to Briandi's because of you. Last time you were here, you said that was one of your favorite restaurants, so we went down there.
Good. Did you enjoy it?
It was very good.
They get a free plug from you tonight, then, didn't they?
That's right. No, we enjoyed it. It was neat. It was a nice little quaint place.
Cute little Italian place.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so, first of all, Tom, you've been in office how many days?
How many days?
Yeah.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks you've been the sheriff.
Yeah.
What are your initial impressions as you've been able to kind of look at the sheriff's office overall?
Overall, the people are terrific. It's a great organization. It's better than I thought it would be. You know, we'd heard so many war stories and so many different things, but to get in there and meet with the people and meet the deputies and meet the civilian support staff, meet the corrections and detention deputies, good people. The organization hasn't grown in 8 years. So they're a little bit on edge, a little stressed because of their workloads increased a lot. Actually, the organization is smaller now than it was 8 years ago. So as our population has grown here, it has not grown systematically. But the people are terrific, and we are all going to work together to do a strategic plan and get it prepared for the future for Sarasota County.
You commanded a highway patrol unit before you became sheriff. How is being a sheriff different than running a highway patrol unit?
I am more responsive to the people, being an elected official. I think nothing can be more important than the people having access to me, the citizens having access to me. So I try to meet with them more than I did with the state. Manage it from a law enforcement perspective. The roles and responsibilities are different, as you know, but overall it's managing the people. And that is always the same wherever you're at, is the type of people we have, the quality of people you have. So in that regard, my management philosophies haven't changed at all. It's about how you handle your people, how you motivate your people, their expectations of me as a manager, and then the citizens' expectations of me as a sheriff. That's really the only difference that I can see, is that my role as a sheriff is much more magnified than it was as a major in highway patrol.
Now I'm going to ask you about a very controversial subject. There is a website called leoaffairs.com, leoaffairs.com. If any of you have never been there, go check it out, because it's pretty comical at times. And this is where you can go on there, and you can go on the Tampa Bay message board, and you can click on the Sarasota Sheriff's Office, and anybody can go on there and post a gripe about you or about their supervisor or their boss. What do you think of this website? You've seen it? You've heard about it?
I think, at first, I think it's the epitome of our First Amendment right, which is fine. Personally, I think it's a riot. I think it's, we had a lot of fun with it during the campaign. We had a lot of good laughs, my personal friends. I think the deputies read it. I don't read a whole lot. Occasionally a friend will bring up, say, hey, you're on LEO Affairs. I get a chuckle out of it. A lot of things go through my mind, is that when I meet with my employees, I say, you know, I always make a joke to them, say, ask me now, don't put it on a blog. I'll be more than happy to look in the eye and talk to you man to man or adult to adult. I think the only thing for me, it doesn't bother me, and I've told the deputies, I think it's a riot, listening to it or looking at it and reading some of the things on there. But I think the only bad thing is that for those law enforcement officers, those employees who read it, it affects them more than it affects me. So I don't take it personal if they write something about me. I think it's bad
things
for
on
law
there
enforcement.
about deputies' wives and everything else. It can get pretty nasty.
Yeah, it got pretty nasty. As you were in a campaign, they talked about my wife and stuff, and my wife and I have been married 20 years. We got a good laugh at it. We go on the back porch and cook out and spend some time with our friends and have a good laugh. But if you take it seriously, it'll bother you. Remember what it's about. It's usually the same 2 or 3 people who really have nothing better in their life to do. So they spend their time on LEO Affairs when they should be out doing something productive.
But I've seen on there you've been accused of being able to figure out who the people are who post anonymously. They say you got the inside connection to figure out who they are. Is that true?
No, and I find that humorous. I think that's moderated out of Tampa. You know, Tampa police officers started that, and boy, I wish I would have found that, because they got rich real quick with that thing, I'm sure. But no, I think that's moderated out of Tampa, and I don't know who's moderating that thing, but I think it's It's entertaining. It's cheap and free entertainment for anybody who wants to take the time to look at it.
Okay. More serious topic. The sheriff's office recently settled, or I guess it's the county, recently settled a sexual discrimination lawsuit where a female deputy had complained that it was very difficult to advance in the Sarasota Sheriff's Office, and it has been. I think my own observation is I haven't seen any women really attain leadership positions. Why was that lawsuit settled, and what do you think going forward as far as women in the agency?
Not just women in the organization, but every minority group, African American, Latinos, Hispanics. The Hispanic population is the nation's fastest growing population right now. It's a 28% growth rate. The lawsuit was settled because it was in the best interest of the Sheriff's Department to settle it, is the reality of the fact is. But to ensure that we don't end up in situations like that in the future, I am in the process of overhauling our promotional policies and procedures, making sure we have something that's federally tested and something that's equitable across the lines. I envision a promotional process that would have an academic test followed up with a written examination or an in-basket examination, along with the oral board interviews by impartial individuals from different law enforcement agencies. Not law enforcement agencies here in our community, not from Sarasota Police or Venice Police, because these deputies and these officers know each other. I would envision them coming from somewhere else in the state or whatever I can afford to bring here on the tough budget times. But for me also to keep my fingers out of it is that if individuals are performing their job duties, they have good performance appraisals, they do well academically, they do well on an in-basket assessment, and they do well orally on an oral board, and if a group of individuals, 3 or 5 people, are evaluating them as I trust the evaluation that these individuals are given to me, and we put them in a position to perform, and hopefully they'll be successful. Is that at the end of the day is that I don't want to be responsible for not promoting somebody who feels like they should be or should be given an opportunity to perform. So basically keep my fingers out of it.
Okay, when we come back, we'll have more questions for Sheriff Tom Knight.